You're listening to the Biohackers World podcast.
Okay, well, we are here at Biohackers World. My name's Jenny, also known as Biohacker Blondie. I have a podcast and promote fitness and overall longevity. I am so excited because we are here with Dr. Doniparthi, and you are all into functional medicine, and also you focus on phospholipids and brain health, physical, mental, all those things. So we're going to get into functional medicine. So welcome, and if you can give a little intro of functional medicine and what your practice does.
Yeah, absolutely, Jenny. Thank you for being here and interviewing. My name is Dr. Krishna Doniparthi. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I am an MD. My background is family medicine, but I've been doing functional medicine for the past 20 years or so. And functional medicine, of course, as many of your viewers probably already know, is trying to address the root cause of what is going on in the human body.
Yeah, it's so important. Longevity is on the forefront right now, and functional medicine, and I hope that it keeps growing. But what is your typical practice?
Well, in my practice, I see all age groups because of my background is being family medicine, but children as young as really from the moment they're born. I have had people say, how do I feed my child so they have the best brain health possible, to those who are advanced age, who might be suffering from dementia or other neurological conditions. So it's a wide spectrum. Okay.
Do you focus mostly on neurological health?
That's interesting. The quick answer is yes, but the long answer is it ends up being neurological because things are breaking down. The cellular health is breaking down. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, nerve cells are more prone for damage than most other cells. Mm. And with that happening, then you're starting to get into things like what happens when nerve cells break down. You might get neuropathy, you might get dementia, you might have seizures, or other strange kind of things, MS, ALS, Parkinson's, and which then affect muscle cells or heart cells and so on. So it's well interconnected, but it seems like most of the work is neurological most of the time.
It does go hand in hand, and I think a lot of people focus on on building muscle, which is also extremely important, but I don't think people are focusing as much on brain health, and either the physical goes or the brain goes, and we need to be focusing on both. Yes. It's so important. So with your practice, what do you typically test for and recommend for brain health?
Well, for brain health or physical health, the basis or the common denominator is something that many people aren't familiar with. And those are known as fatty acids, phospholipids, and plasmalogens. And the nice thing now, fatty acids have been available for testing for a very long time, but new on the circuit is things like phospholipids and plasmalogens. All of it is a blood test, and it's really easy to do now. And I've cataloged those, and then I can determine what is wrong or what is okay.
So for everyone who's listening, what are plasmalogens? What are phospholipids? And why do people care?
You should care. Everyone should care about fatty acids, phospholipids, and plasmalogens. So to quickly break it down, most people know about fats and oils, or they've heard of things like fish oil. But fats and oils are what we call in science fatty acids. Kind of like proteins, the building blocks are amino acids. Mm-hmm. And so fatty acids are made in the body, or we can consume them from our foods. So depending on whether at room temperature it's solid or liquid is how we determine what kind of fatty acid is it. Is it a saturated fatty acid or a mono or polyunsaturated fatty acid? And those fatty acids are made in our liver. So one of the only locations where they're made. And so if someone's suffering from liver dysfunction, they can't make fatty acids.
Wow.
And as a result, the same place, the same location as those fatty acids are modified to make phospholipids. Mm. And those phospholipids can go on to be further modified into what are known as plasmalogens.
And how do we convert phospholipids to plasmalogens?
Great question. And without getting too techie, from a biochemistry standpoint, there are, in our liver cells, there are some components called endoplasmic reticulum and the peroxisomes and the Golgi apparatus that manufacture these, or should. Mm-hmm. And it's partly based on our diet. What are we eating? So good nutrition leads to good fatty acids and phospholipids.
Olive
But
oil?
yes, olive oil has 80 to 81 or 82% of one of the most abundant fatty acids we need, called oleic acid.
Okay.
But it's not the only one. But there are some key ones. That's one of them.
Okay.
The other ones are like stearic and palmitic and linoleic and arachidonic. They're all important, but to different varying degrees.
And where do we get these from?
Well, the liver cells can synthesize them from scratch, or what
Okay.
we call de novo, or you can get them from foods if necessary. But the interesting thing is that if the liver is dysfunctional, and this is where it gets a little strange as to, well, why are we losing our health? And that has to do with environmental chemicals that damage our peroxisomes, damage our endoplasmic reticulum, and they're not making them as much. So there's a decreased production.
And kids now are having non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Yeah.
So is that affecting, are you testing kids of their phospholipids or plasmalogens? I'm wondering if this is some concern because that is affecting their brain health and their neurotransmitters.
Right, absolutely. You're spot on because, yes, as the liver gets, and the liver does so much work. There's so many different functions of the liver. And trying to handle what the foods that we eat, especially high-carb foods that can damage the liver. Of course, kids aren't drinking alcohol. You said it correctly, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is rampant right now. And it's because of easily digestible carbohydrates, like sugars. Yeah, you said it. And other carby foods like pasta and rice and so on. Those are all the things that really put a lot of burden on the liver, and then they don't know what to do quickly, so they convert it to fat and deposit it into the liver, and that's known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The problem is now the liver is spending so much time doing that stuff, it can't make fatty acids, phospholipids correctly.
Wow, this is so important. I think a lot of parents out there are saying, okay, well, my kids are skinny because, they can take a lot of calories, and they're not thinking about their liver, their brain health, all these things that will affect you in the long run. So I think we really need to focus on kids now and their health now for their future of health and longevity and for overall happiness.
You're absolutely correct. It is well, actually, when I first started after finishing family medicine residency, I went into obesity medicine, and that was also 20 years ago. And it was a concern at that time that the amount of carbohydrates the average American is consuming is tremendous. And as a result, hepatologists and gastroenterologists were already saying 20 years ago, if we don't change the trajectory of human nutrition, that we'll have a tsunami, and that was the word that they use, of liver transplants that will be necessary in order to fix what happens with chronic non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
So are you using GLP-1s in your practice? And what are your thoughts on these peptides?
And that's an important word, peptide, because peptide therapy is also very popular, and insulin is a peptide, and we have so many other peptides that are natural to the human body. And unfortunately, because of the situation the U.S. population, maybe other parts of the world are in, it has become a vicious circle, unfortunately. We're eating the wrong way. That's creating this problem. And the toxicity in foods, as endocrine disrupting chemicals and other toxins accumulate in our body, it becomes that much more difficult to lose weight.
Yeah.
And so some people, I'm sure you've heard of it, they say, I'm trying to eat right. I eat low carb, high protein, and I'm still not losing weight. Well, that's good that they're doing that, but it's a hormonal issue at that point. There are certain hormones. As you try to lose weight, they get mobilized from our body fat cells, and then they prevent further weight loss. So unfortunately, I'm an advocate, and I'm not an advocate for GLP-1s, but unfortunately right now it is solving a problem that is circumventing simple nutrition and physical activity.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I do use them, not that often. I always try to resort to nutrition and proper lifestyle.
Yeah.
But in some cases, if everything is exhausted, I do suggest GLP-1s.
I know a lot of people are not thinking about toxins, but I think that can prevent, you from losing weight, because if you have mold, if you have heavy metals, if you have parasites, these things are going to keep you bloated. They're going to mess with your hormones. We're seeing a lot of heavy metals or mold, affecting testosterone and women's hormones. So do you see this a lot in your practice? Are you testing for these toxins and detoxing?
Yeah, there was a time that I was testing for them, and then I realized, good gosh, everyone has them.
Exactly.
So why, if 9 out of 10 of my patients are testing positive or more, actually nowadays, it used to be much less. I think we're just accumulating these toxins faster and faster. So I've stopped testing now.
Wow.
So I would rather just assume
Detox.
assume the fact and treat.
And what do you recommend for detoxing? Because this is a big topic, and a lot of people just need to, I think maybe 99% need to detox now. And we are just surrounded by toxins in our water, our soil, our food, just everywhere. So what is your typical detox protocol?
Well, interestingly, the detox program that I have is actually based on natural cell physiology. We as humans have a natural mechanism to constantly detox. The problem is mismatch, meaning that once we start accumulating more toxins than we can get rid of in a 24-hour period, they start stacking. Mm-hmm. And that stacking effect is where we start to lose. So if we didn't have what I'm about to explain, the natural detox mechanism, I don't think we could have lived as long as we did. So there's natural environmental chemicals. Organic mercury was one of them, cadmium, and so on, aluminum. If we didn't have a mechanism to get rid of these, we wouldn't survive past age 5. So the natural mechanism is the body's or the cellular phospholipids. They have the ability to make what are called lipid droplets, a single layer of phospholipids that surround any kind of toxin. Almost 99% of the toxins can be ballooned or surrounded by phospholipids and escorted out of the cells.
Wow, I did not know this. What are your thoughts on EVO? Is it EBOO? Is that where you you take in your blood and it kind of filters the blood, and then you add some ozone in?
That is a great idea, but it only can remove so much. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is the toxins, most of the toxins are not in our blood. Our blood is a transport system, moving things from place to place, maybe from cells to the liver back to the cells. And so it'll help remove what's in the blood, and then maybe the cells can then transport more into the blood. So it would be a longer process. Encouraging the cells to push things into the blood would be a much better route. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just that it's, I would call it moderately or mildly efficient system. Instead, using phospholipids would enhance that effect. Yeah, and that's what I focus on.
I don't think a lot of people are thinking about phospholipids when it comes to detox, which no one's really talking about that. Everyone's talking about detoxing the liver, the kidneys, getting the bile going, and taking binders. Is that somewhat of your protocol?
That's what I hear a lot from other practitioners, right? I do use occasional binders, but our number one binder in the human body is naturally made. It's called glutathione. Mm-hmm. And so supplementing with glutathione, improving liver function, or getting out of dysfunction, I should say, is a better method.
What do you recommend a typical diet? What does your diet look like? Should everyone be on the same Mediterranean diet? And do you take shots of olive oil?
The easy question first, shots of olive oil. I don't, but I do enjoy olive oil. I make my own mayonnaise and natural with, eggs and olive oil. So I love my own mayonnaise, unlike what you find at the store, which is canola oil or soybean oil. It's terrible.
My gosh.
And so I love olive oil. That's really good. Never cook with it though. As far as nutrition, that's also an easy subject to discuss because we really should be eating just natural foods.
Yeah.
And it starts with not overly cooking our foods. In fact, I always say the best cooking in the world is no cooking. Because the moment you cook anything, it's a process and you're going to lose some nutrients. The molecules are going to change molecularly. So eating fruits, vegetables, meats, and eggs is what I recommend.
Do you think raw food, like raw vegetables, and is something I know that can be, some people can have issues with the gut,
Yes.
and they say to cook the vegetables, or do you think that's because of gut permeability and SIBO and dysbiosis?
Absolutely, because you're absolutely, again, spot on. Yes, if you have a dysfunctional gut, SIBO or SIFO or otherwise, yes, it's going to be difficult to digest raw food. And so usually in my gut repair program, I ask that people cook their vegetables for the first month or month and a half so that they are much easily more digestible. And then they can go back to eating raw fruits, raw vegetables or salads and so on.
So what are your thoughts on all these people that are just eating maybe even raw meat, butter, just very keto?
Yeah, it's a good idea. The less meat is cooked, the easier it is for us to digest it. And if you ever want to try it out, eat some sashimi or ceviche for a week and see what happens. You'll find that you can process that and digest and absorb that meat much easier.
Wow, okay. That was not an answer I was thinking you were going to say. So, what about, let's get into a little bit of gut health because I do think gut permeability is a huge issue. Autoimmune disease is on the rise, and a lot of people have H. pylori or things that are causing that gut permeability. What is your typical gut sealing health protocol?
Yeah, so to avoid creating that leaky gut or gut permeability is to avoid the foods that create that, or even medications. In fact, medications, their mechanism of action is to create a leaky gut so the medication can get in.
Is
Many
that
people don't.
all medications?
Almost all pharmaceutical meds
Wow.
have to create a leaky gut in order for the medication to be absorbed and then transported to the liver for further metabolism.
Wow.
But foods, the ones that come to mind, of course, are foods that have mycotoxins, foods that have the grains that can create that leaky gut. Those are the ones that definitely need to go. So that's the nutritional side and other foods. There might be other ones as well. And then the thing that can naturally help heal our gut is what our colon does. And it makes this stuff called short-chain fatty acid called butyrate. And butyrate only comes from dietary fiber, mostly, almost 98%. Dietary fiber and good bacteria. If they can ferment that bacteria, you're going to make butyrate, you're going to have a healthy gut. So supplementation with butyrate is a good idea.
Okay.
Until you can correct your nutrition and get your gut health back in check.
Do you do a lot of stool tests on patients?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing stool tests forever, and it's one of like the top things if you come to me, you almost inevitably are going to be advised to get a stool analysis because without proper digestion and absorption, you're not going to be able to get the benefit of your eating foods or your supplements.
And which stool test do you do?
I've used a variety of them. I really like Dr. Stata, but there's other ones on the market. US Biotech, Genova Diagnostics. I've used a lot of them. Gut Zoomer,
Okay.
or people have brought I should say they brought their results to me. But Dr. Stata
Is your favorite?
by far.
I think they're all a little bit different.
Yeah, they
and
are.
I have, some people say too with parasites, which I kind of believe if you do a little scoop of your stool into this tube, are you going to find the parasites?
Lots of times you're not going to find the parasites. If you have a inclination to think that there's a parasite, you should just treat.
Yeah, just do the whole detox.
Or just do it anyway. It's good health. I mean, you don't have to do it all the time, but at least once.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us at the Biohackers World Conference. I'm so grateful to have met you and to interview you because you are just full of knowledge from from the mental to the physical to brain health, physical health. It's so important. So where is your practice?
I'm in Alpharetta, Georgia, a little
Okay.
north of Atlanta,
Okay.
not that far.
And are you taking any patients right now?
I'm always taking patients.
Wow.
When I get to you is the only question.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I love all of the cities, but the cool thing is, so I've been to Los Angeles, Biohackers World, I've been to Chicago, Biohackers World, and I've been to Miami, Biohackers World. I'm really looking forward to Biohackers World in New York. I think that's the new one.